Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gersh1, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue talking about the Inquisition as we get into the warrior acolytes of the Inquisition. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We post Warhammer 40K content every single day, and if you have any suggestions, just comment down below. But with that said, let's get into 40 facts on the warrior acolyte of the Inquisition. Every Inquisitor needs a warrior within his acolytes. Hardened fighters and veterans, skilled in all forms of combat. They are adept at both starting and ending conflicts, as well as the brutal application of violence to get the job done, no matter the cost. The one constant of life in the 41st millennium is war. Ravenous Xenos and hostile powers besiege the Imperium on all sides, and every facade of industry is turned to supporting armed combat. A warrior is the result of this constant conflict, either drawn from the front lines of worlds racked with violence. One might be an Imperial guardsman, scarred by long years on a cursed alien battlefield, a brutal arbitrator tempered by the mean streets of his homeworld, or a ganger eking out a living in the foul underhive. He has become inured to the sight of bloody wounds and the crack of lasgun fire. For a warrior, life is conflict, and most solutions can be found through the direct and brutal application of force, usually at his own hands. In every case, he is a skilled fighter with an extensive understanding of the nature of battle. He is also a survivor, having lived long enough to learn a thing or two about getting out alive from even the most violent of situations. A warrior has a talent for combat and finds it his most effective means of resolving matters. Chainswords and hand cannons are his most reliable forms of communication. He leaves a battle ragged but alive, his foes lying in a pool of blood. As few targets of inquisitorial investigation shy away from violent confrontation, a warrior makes for an invaluable acolyte, even though he can rarely guarantee someone's survival but his own. An inquisitor is always in need for strong arms and soldiers to enforce his judgments or protect his person, and any that offer up his gun in service never wants for work. A warrior is the hard edge of any combat encounter, using his skill and expertise to put down his enemies in a hail of fire. A good warrior also understands warfare and can direct others in battle, acting as a commander and providing tactical leadership. When hard calls must be made, the kinds that cost lives, it is the warrior who can step up and make them. In this capacity, an inquisitor might defer to his warrior when dealing with these kinds of violent situations, trusting years of experience to deal with nuisance of small unit tactics or battlefield dominance. A warrior is often a talented pilot, gunner, and driver, having trained with the Imperium's most deadly weapons and most powerful machines. Whether it is suborbital craft, hovering vehicles, or walkers, it is likely a warrior who knows how it functions and how to best push it to its limits. Even when driving an unfamiliar vehicle, he can probably find his way around. The same sharpened reflexes and natural assurance he used in combat, making him skilled behind the control of all manner of machines. A veteran from the Imperial Guard especially might be able to operate many heavy weapons, drive battle tanks, or fire self-prepared artillery pieces. A hive ganger may be able to drive or modify industrial vehicles, and usually has experience with many small and improvised weapons, as well as homemade explosives. A fighter on a feral world might only have access to primitive weapons, but the principles of violence are universal, and he is just as lethal in combat. Having faced many a foe eye to eye, a warrior can also make for a keen judge of character and demeanor. He is the one who can detect subterfuge through shifting gazes or twitching trigger fingers, and determines whether an enemy is about to back down or stand resolute. A warrior exists through force of arms and can usually recognize others who deal in violence, despite disguises or guile. This judgment may appear superficial to others, but a warrior lives or dies with only seconds between decisions and action. What might appear to be snap appraisals are the results of many battles that have kept him alive. He is also used to death. No one comes out of the Imperial Guard, the Adeptus Arbitus, or brutal hive gangs without seeing scores of his companions fall along the way and putting more than his fair share of bodies in the ground. Unlike for an assassin, killing is not some great art or expression of devotion, nor is it something to savor and enjoy. The taking of life is rather a necessary step in the preservation of his own, and when a warrior sees his enemies fall in sprays of blood, the elation he feels is that he is triumphant again to live another day. Each world of the Imperium has its own unique kinds of conflict. from personal duels and gang skirmishes in otherwise civilized planets to huge battles between massive armies. A warrior is shaped as much by the environment in which he fights as by the personal talents or traits he possesses. When a warrior joins an illustrious organization like the Imperial Guard or the Adeptus Arbitus, he brings with him these special skills. These color his fighting styles and dictate much of the personal combat doctrines, staying with him no matter what additional training he later receives. Feral worlders learn to fight on brutal and primitive worlds as savage tribesmen or nomadic marauders, favoring melee weapons above all others for reliability and sometimes issues of honor. They respect physical strength and endurance in places of cunning and guile, coming as they do from societies where the weak are crushed and the strong survive. Even when warriors gain access to advanced technology, such as powered weapons and modern armor, they usually retain some weapon of their homeworld, a bloody splattered axe or gore-stained club that always remains their preferred method of killing. Hive World and Forge World warriors are by contrast masters of technology, and the former often excels at close-quarter fighting that life in cramped hab tunnels can teach. Forge World warriors are also prone to augment their bodies, following the teachings of the machine god. They discard weak, fleshy limbs in favor for those of steel and gears. They may even sometimes replace an arm with a lasgun or bolter so that they always have ready access to their weapon. Voidborn warriors share an acceptance of technology with their Hive and Forge World counterparts, but also learn methods of fighting in space, becoming skilled in boarding actions and airless engagements. The effect of low or zero gravity are lessened on the Voidborn, such as their natural gift from living in uncertain and artificial gravities. Though they might seem more scrawny than a heavy fighter from a blasted wasteland of a feral world, like all warriors, they are defined through the violence they live by and inflict on others. And those were 40 facts on the warrior acolyte of the Inquisition. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys read or listen to the Eisenhorn, I think it's Xenos book, he has, I'm pretty sure it's in the other books too, but he has a companion. Eisenhorn has a companion who's just like a big, like, bulking, kind of dumb guy, but like he's the warrior class, and he's always like getting them out of trouble. He's pretty skilled with weapons and whatnot, and it's cool to hear, or to read that book, or to listen to that book. I really recommend you check out Eisenhorn Xenos, just because you'll get a glimpse as to like the actual example of a warrior acolyte, of a surgeon acolyte, of a psyker, or they call it mystic in Dark Heresy, acolyte. So it's basically like playing the role-playing game, but just listening to people and listening to the Eisenhorn story. So really recommend that book, whether you want to read it or listen to it. The warrior class is an interesting class. It's not a class that I would ever choose whenever I play like role-playing games on Skyrim or in video games, so like Skyrim and Mass Effect. I never choose the warrior or the soldier. I don't remember what it's called. Like for Skyrim, I always used to go for the thief and try to level up my my thief skills. Are they sneaking skills? I don't remember. But when I was younger, I'm pretty sure that I would want to be a warrior. It just kind of makes sense. It all depends on your play group, and it all depends on the individuals. I feel if you're younger, you're probably going to be more, you're going to lean more towards like the warrior class and all that kind of stuff. Now, of course, we deal with warriors every single time we play the tabletop. So if you're playing the tabletop, pretty much everything on the battlefield is a warrior. So it's kind of interesting. I really hope that, I talked about this yesterday, I think, but I really hope that Kill Team comes out with a supplement or an enhancement to the rules, where number one, we get more units, and number two, the units themselves have like different special rules. I like the rules that they have now, but I think we need more like bonuses and whatnot. If you haven't played Kill Team, I really recommend you do. I'm working on the video for the giveaway of the Kill Team box, so that's going to be coming pretty soon. And we're also working on a battle report that I hope you guys are going to like. So I talked about it before, I think a week or two ago, but now we filmed it, it's set, now I just have to edit the whole thing. I'm debating whether I should do it 2 different ways or just like do one combination of a style. We'll see what happens, but expect that pretty soon. I hope you guys are enjoying our videos. It's thanks to our patrons that we can bring you guys so many videos. We had a comment from someone saying that we post too much content and like it's hard to actually watch everything, and it makes sense because there's other awesome 40k YouTubers and you probably want to check their stuff out. So we might pull back a little bit in terms of the amount of content that we're producing, and like I said before, focus more on quality and not quantity. I know for a time we were trying to do 3 videos a day, and what ended up happening is the weekends would come and like it would be our free time, so it's like you want to work on the videos because you have free time, but then again it's like your only free time, so we ended up posting less on the weekend, so that didn't really work out for us, but things are improving. If you guys have any suggestions, comment down below, and yeah, thanks for listening to me ramble about nothing. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. This is Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate signing out.
Oh, I used to put my freedom